Hello and welcome to the Big Brother 16 reunion. This is one of the most kind of awkward but fun ones that we've done yet. We got a great lineup on this one, we really do. So I hope you enjoy. If you do, then you know to come back on Friday for the Big Brother 17 reunion. So hello everyone and welcome to this Big Brother reunion. We've got four housemates. We're going to be joined by another one just very shortly. So let's say hello to Harry. How are you?
Hello, I'm okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much for coming on. Obviously, I know you weren't going to come on originally. I was like asking you because I loved you in the house. You're a great housemate, and I'm looking forward to hearing about your experience. So thanks for coming on.
It's okay.
And we've got Joel, Mr. Politics himself, is in the house. How are you?
Hey Lewis, how are things?
Yeah, really
I'm
good.
really
Thank
good.
you for.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah, it's nice.
Eileen, and I'm not sure if Eileen remembers any of the housemates on this call actually, which we've just discovered. But how are you, Eileen?
I'm very good. I do remember Harry. I do remember Harry.
Just
Yeah.
not the other two.
The other lot were just. Yeah.
And then we've got Danny. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Very
Brilliant.
well.
It looks like Harriet's joining us now, so we should see her any moment on the call, and then we'll start speaking to everyone about their experience. There we go. She looks like she's just joining. So I'll start with Harry. What was it about Big Brother that made you actually want to take part, originally?
The producer rang me up the day before and sort of begged me to get in the car the next morning, so I did.
Wow. What, you didn't audition or anything?
I did. I was a fast track application, so I didn't really have to audition. I was sort of like pre-approved before the audition because I was signed to an agency at the time.
See, that's crazy because when we speak to the housemates from the Channel 4 series, there was such a long process. But I hear from a few people that it was different for Channel 5. But what about you, Joel? What was it about the show that made you want to take part?
I remember I was dared to apply back in the December, so I put in an application, and I just went through the application process, which was started at December and it ended in around April. So I knew about 3 weeks before the show that I had been sort of invited on, and was successful in that. But no, I don't think many people actually applied. Like a lot of people, like Harry, sort of had the call and the fast track and so on and so forth. But yeah, I just applied because I was dared, and which is quite unlike me. But I'm always
You
up
don't
for a
strike me
challenge.
as the sort of person that would just do a dare and then go on to a national television show. That's
No,
surprising.
it's funny. I think a lot of people I've spoken to who did Big Brother, sort of when they applied, they kind of always had a gut feeling that they would be offered a place. And it's a really weird feeling, but it's kind of like I was applying with a gut feeling that I might just get on. It's quite a weird one.
And you did.
I
Eileen,
did.
what about you? What was it about the show that stood out to you and made you want to take part?
Well, I had an editor at the time. Her name was Lindsay, and I still got Lindsay. She does most of my editing for my films. So, and she said, "Why don't you go for Big Brother?" And I said, "Oh, I've never seen I never saw Big Brother. I'd never watched Big Brother. I think Joe Goody, I think I watched." And I said, "All right then." And I went for it, and then I got asked to go on the show, and then I said, "No, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch a show. I'm not." And everyone was saying, "YouTube it, Eileen, YouTube it." And I was going, "No, no, no, no. I want to go on there neat." And that's how I went on there with not watching. I must admit, did have a glimpse on YouTube of what was going on, but basically, I didn't. I went in there as a newbie, someone who'd never watched it, and just did it. That was kind of how I got on there.
I always remember you losing it in the bedroom and just running around
Sorry?
bedroom.
So, I hope I wasn't naked.
No, you weren't.
Everyone would have just turned off.
Danny, I mean, what was it about the show that made you want to take part? Was it just to find some love or a bit of romance or just the experience?
It's just the experience. So unlike these lot, I actually just done the whole process of applying. So my mum watches it all the time, and I just thought it'd be cool to be on there. Why not give it a try? So just scrolling through the internet and you see, apply here to go on Big Brother. So I did it, you have to do a little video of yourself, just going, hi, I'm Danny, 28 at the time, or whatever I was, and I'm a demolition man, and that was it. And then you just got to hope that you get a call back, and I did, and I got asked to go to London for auditions, and I went there, and there's like thousands and thousands of people there, all sorts of characters. I'm just sitting there in a chair all quiet, with all these people doing like backflips and cartwheels, trying to impress. And I was just quiet sitting there, and this woman come over to me and approached me. It was a helper on the day, and she just asked me why I was applying and stuff like that. And it turns out she was actually one of the producers of the show, so she was pretending to be just a helper. And obviously, when I was speaking to her, she was quite keen on me, and I got fast tracked from there. So I missed out a few of the audition stages and went right to the end. So that little chat really, worked in my favour.
And you know when you
We
go
love
in,
Danny's mum.
You what? Sorry.
We love Danny's mum.
You know when you walk in, and obviously you got the crowd reaction, you got the paparazzi. How does that actually feel? Because I mean, for a lot of you, I know you said some of you got you had agencies before, but that's such a different world. So to get out of that car, you know, you've got all the crowd shouting or booing or cheering. What does that feel like? I mean, starting with you, Harry.
Obviously, actually didn't get any of that when I went in because I got put in the time machine. But I mean, everyone thought, like, the cast and the crew thought it was hilarious because I'm just proper calm and anything like that. Like, I don't really, you know, I'm just going on there for shits and giggles, and I don't really care whether I was liked or hated. So I was just like, cool, whatever. So they went to my the helper. You get put in a room, like you get like a minder that has to stay with you all the time. So she told me I could have like whatever I wanted off the room service menu the night before, because obviously I didn't have to do what these guys did. Like, these guys had to stay in like in isolation, but because I'd got less than 24 hours notice, I just got like whacked in the Holiday Inn for a night. So I had lots of pizza, and my minder came in the night before, and I was like surrounded by like pizzas and eaten mess and all of the food, like I was sat in bed like scranning all this food. And she was like, "You're right." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I just come to check on you. You nervous?" I was like, "No, I'm having a lovely time." And then sort of like, then I went zonko, like went to sleep for a bit, got up the next day. When they put me in like the dressing rooms at Elstree Studios, and then like I told her I was hungry again, so then they had to go to Tesco's to get me more snacks, and I had a picnic of some pom bears and some more food, and I ate and then I ate all the Haribos that they put out in the room for me. And she was like, "Everyone else don't eat because they get nervous." And I was like, "I think I'm gonna have a nap." So then I pulled 2 chairs together, I had a little nap, and she put something over me so I could go to sleep for a bit. And they had to wake me up to like do some bits and bobs. And then obviously I had to start like getting dressed. The makeup artist comes, she does your makeup. That's something I struggled with a lot because like, obviously as a model I had like my own team of hair and makeup artists, and they become like your best friends and like your confidants. And like my makeup artist Hannah, like whenever she does my makeup, I'm like, oh my god, like it's like a pre-ritual, pre-routine. Yeah. And because I had like somebody I didn't know doing my makeup, then I was a bit like, because I had to like tell her what I liked and what I didn't like. Sorry, hang on a minute. What? I'll be down in a minute. So yeah, and then like she did my hair for me, and then because I had my latex designer who made all my dresses and stuff like that. It takes like 4 people to get me into my dresses. So then like to get you into dresses, you had to either talcum powder yourself in or use lube. So then they're like lubing me up, they're talcum powdering me up. They had to get the security staff in to try and get me in my 2 bras in my dress, and like yanking me from here to Kingdom Come. And then after that, I was like, I mean, I can't breathe, but I'm hungry again. So then I had a little bit more food, and then they had like everyone come sit with you, and then I was sat like backstage waiting to go on, and everyone by this point she was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I was there like, I could well do with some more food. And then next minute, like I had to sit on, and then there was like quick, because obviously as Harriet came off, I had to be like shoved on like really, really quickly. So they're like shoving me on, and then I'm like trying to sort my dress out and look all pretty for my first bit of like time on camera. And then I was like, oh fuck it, and went in. So yeah, I don't really get nervous or anything like that. It was strange for me because I didn't get like any of the, you know, like the walkout that everyone else gets. So they say like usually it hits them at that point, but I think because I just got snuck through the back door, I didn't really get any of that.
Just got a lot of food.
Yeah, and that's probably why I had to get like dresses bought in, because I just ate all of the food and then it didn't fit in any of my clothes.
What about
Awkward.
you? I was gonna say, what about you, Joe? How did you find that whole experience with the crowd and going into the house originally?
You know, I remember going into hiding for 4 days because it was right after the 2015 general election.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know, anyone else will probably agree, but being in hiding was probably the worst time ever, because you were stuck in a hotel room for 3 or 4 days and you didn't have access to a phone. You were limited in what you could watch. You had a chaperone who'd sort of been paired up to get along with you, and they're like somehow seemed to mirror yours, which was really interesting. And then we moved hotels, and then we went on then to the show. And I remember I was really nervous because I'd never done anything like that before, and I think I was probably the youngest in the house. And yeah, it's stressful, you know, but I enjoyed it, you know. And I get asked a lot, would I do it again? And I would never say never, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Got to leave the door open, maybe. Hey, Harriet.
Harriet, how are you?
What's
Hey, you
happening?
okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Hey!
That the baby.
Wait, who's here? What's happening there?
So we've got Harry,
Ah,
Joe,
yes, Eileen.
Eileen, and Danny.
Where is everyone else?
Some of them Sam was due on, but she pulled out last minute. And Kieran was going to come on, and he's just not joined the call. But
Oh, what am in?
what I wanted to ask you, because I know like you're limited with time at the moment, is what made you actually want to take part in Big Brother originally?
Oh, man, I've done it for a laugh. I swear.
You what? Sorry.
I've done it for a laugh.
Are you glad that you did?
Hold on, I've got to turn my telly down. Hold on, 1 minute. 1 minute. Too loud. Get a rabbit on. Hold on. Oh, mate, what is happening with this fucking thing?
This is Harriet all over, I tell you.
Amazing.
Oh, mate. What's happening?
Yeah, so
Hi.
you know when you went into the house originally, how did you find the experience of, because I just asked some of the others about the crowd, you know, the reaction and the press and just the whole
To
atmosphere.
be, if I'm honest, I don't really remember it.
Okay, so it doesn't stand out as a special memory then?
Mate, well, I feel like it was just like a whirlwind, like, and everything happened so quick. I feel like if you're around other people that were in it and they remind you of things, you know what I mean? There's certain things that I just can't remember. But all I remember when I was walking through the crowd, just looking for my mum. I shit myself.
Must be, yeah, nerve-wracking, I can imagine. What about you, Irene?
Yeah.
How did you find the whole experience?
Well, they blindfolded you and they put you in a limo and they blindfolded you. And I get a bit car sick. So it's sort of like my equilibrium went a bit sort of winky wonky. Then they drive up and then they take the blindfold off and they make you stand there and you wait. And then you just hear all these people and you think, oh God. And then these doors open and someone goes, go, go, go. And then all of a sudden you go and you go, wow, oh my God. You end up sort of like, kind of, it's an anxious feeling of, oh God, what have I done? This is like, because people are shouting, you see, you know, and you're looking like you don't know anyone, you don't, and you know, it's a mind blast actually, if you're open to it. You know, some people did a doddle. I thought it was quite sort of scary.
Yeah, definitely.
It was sort of a big one, wasn't it, Harriet? That you just sort of went, whoa, what was it?
Yeah, and I felt it was like a fart in the wind. As quick as it comes, quick as it went, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it didn't smell, did it?
No, no. No,
Danny.
but oh mate, I had a laugh, but there's just certain things I can't remember. But I remember like crying myself to sleep some nights, putting the thing and thinking, "What am I doing? Get me out of here!" Like, oh mate, no.
Your voice was beautiful, and you were singing and singing. Do you remember?
Yeah, but they never showed anything.
You know why? I know why they didn't show it, because you were singing everybody else's tunes.
Yeah, but so was Christian.
Oh, was he? No, he wasn't. Cone Tunes, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was singing all like he's in a little American accent.
Oh.
Rapping in an American accent.
Yeah.
Dad,
Yeah.
you know that one.
That lovely voice.
I know, man. Do you remember when do you remember when the new people come in the house and they all said to him, yeah, he's got a record deal with Def Jam and all that, and he was buzzing, wasn't he? He thought he was going to get contracts and
Def
everything.
Jam as well. That is far-fetched. Why would you believe that?
Danny, what about you then? How did you find that experience about actually going in and the crowd? Because you were loved, weren't you? The girls were screaming and everything, so you must have been living it up.
Yeah.
That's a normal Saturday night for Danny.
No, it was a bit like what Eileen said. Blindfolded, and I got taken out, and you were chucked behind the eye, and all you can hear is the countdown straight away. So you chucked to the deep end straight away. They said, "Wait there." As soon as our eye opens, walk down, and you can hear the countdown. And
I'm on the
just
phone,
standing there,
baby.
you're just thinking, shit, like this is it, like, and you can hear everyone screaming and shouting. Yeah. And the eye opens, and it's a bit like what Harriet said. It's just a bit of a whirlwind, man. It happens so quick, and
Yeah.
I feel like everyone was just blanked out to me, and I just walked down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then I saw a couple of my mates, and I was like, that's what made me. I buzzed to see my mates. I was like, yeah,
Oi.
and I was buzzing.
Dan, there was loads of my pals there. I didn't see one of them. Do you know, like,
Really?
they took up the half of the side. Like, and there was Harriet, we were screaming at you, and I thought, I just need to look at my mum. Where is my mum? And I just found my mum and sister. I didn't see no one else.
Man.
Since
It
Big
was
Brother,
scary.
I was going to say, I bet you think twice about telling anyone to shut
Still
up
on the
now
phone.
since your time in Big Brother.
Who, me?
No, Danny. I bet he thinks twice
Yeah, I
about
know.
saying that.
Do you know what? I don't know what come over me, because that come from nowhere, and then, like, I don't know what had happened. Like that was kind of a few days in, and
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was something built up before, and I just snapped. And I was just thinking, it was weird. I was thinking earlier, I don't know where that come from. It's just from nowhere. And
The legendary moment.
It's funny, though.
and I definitely sent it to the wrong girl, because Harriet being Harriet, you know, she was herself all the way through, and that was just her. She would do the same if she was on the outside. So she just fired back. She would never back down. Do you know what I mean? So,
No,
it
do you know
was
what? I
good.
feel I've calmed down a bit, you know. No, I have. Look, I've got a child now, mate.
Oh, I love that. One thing that changed the dynamic of the house, I felt, was when the Big Brother legends came in. You had Helen, Brian, and Nikki. What was that like for you guys in the house to have these big characters come in? Because Helen, I mean, she came in and just wanted to stir that house up, and literally the whole mood just felt differently. So, to all of you, really, how did you find that, having them come in? Was it something you enjoyed, or did it make you feel a bit on edge?
Personally, I'd gone there.
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
Harry, what about you?
Soul destroying.
Was there any of them that you really enjoyed being with?
Hell no. Sorry, this is hilarious.
Sometimes at night, when everyone else is asleep, you'd see the cameramen through the windows. The windows are open, and sometimes, very occasionally, I'd try and wave at them and see if they wave back. That was a good moment for me.
It sounds like you must have been bored in that house if that was your entertainment, waving at a cameraman.
Not bored, it's just when the legends came in, sort of everyone who professed to sort of have my back magically vanished into thin air as soon as they realised that everything that they'd done were on camera. And actually, no, I lie. I did actually like Mark, despite his obvious hatred for me at the start. I did like Mark, because Mark was pretty much the same all the way through. And at least with Mark, everything he said to my face, he said behind my back. And Mark's opinion actually changed about me when he came back in, because again, I was the only person who said everything to everyone's face rather than stirring the pot down their back.
Joel, how did you find it? Did you having them come in? Because I know you were a Big Brother fan. So obviously you've got legends like Nikki and Brian. I mean, did you enjoy the company? I mean, how did you find Helen as well? Because watching it as a viewer, it came across, because we only see an hour of a show, but she comes across as quite an intimidating person. You can't really get a chance to speak over her as such.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Helen is misunderstood by a number of people. You know, certainly the time that I spent with her, she was really nice to me. We had some really interesting discussions, and don't get me wrong, you know, Helen will stick up for herself in an argument, and you know, you can't fault her for doing that. Everyone makes mistakes, me probably more than many others. But you know, it was quite interesting having people who'd done a Big Brother experience come back in and try and be part of ours, and I actually thought it was I enjoyed it. You know, I thought it really made the experience, you know, it made it more interesting because they had their take and they were able to share their take with you whilst you were living your experience of Big Brother. And you know, that was a really interesting thing.
I mean, with you in the house, I mean, you didn't like conflict as such. So I kind of felt maybe with Helen, if someone spoke up to her, I don't think you would ever be at risk of speaking up to her as such, because you just liked an easygoing life in the house. You weren't really there for conflict. You just wanted a good experience. That could have been why maybe that you didn't experience the wrath, you know, as such.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that I don't shy away from conflict. I don't go out and court conflicts. But you know, if someone starts something, I'm more than happy to try and finish it. You know, I remember even now looking back, I laugh that Danny and I were arguing about whether or not we were going to eat chips and burgers and all that, you know, and take money from the prize fund. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, there were some heated discussions. I know Harry and I, you know, had a few during our time in the house, and you know,
I would say more likely afterwards is my problem with you, Joel.
Hey.
Wait, it gets juicy.
Yeah, well,
Harry, just cracks me up.
Sorry, I don't get out much, guys.
Oh, neither do I, Harriet.
Listen, mum
Mum
life, no makeup, hair up. But crack on.
I mean,
What's
obviously,
that?
I can't comment on things that I don't know. I'm not going to respond to veiled comments like that. But you know, all I will say is
So you
that,
you can't comment on lying to reporters whilst I was pregnant, Joel.
Oh!
What was that?
Wait.
You can't comment on lying to reporters whilst I was pregnant, Joel.
What?
I will
Joel,
be quiet.
Well, I'm not going to sort of
comment on that. I'm
respond.
like, you're like,
I'm not
Joel,
going
You're not going to
I
respond.
swear.
No,
Joel,
I'm.
If you'd like, I can read out your exact
Go,
message
go,
if you'd
read
like,
it.
Joel.
Come with receipts. Come with receipts.
Hang on, let me just go
Sorry.
through
Joel, I wanted to
Joel, we're having a laugh. It's all a laugh.
Joel, what was your favourite task in the house?
My favourite task in the house. There was the task where we kind of had to do things to get the prize fund up.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of Jack had to shave his head, didn't he? And there were things like that, and I just remember finding that so funny. It was, it was really good, and you know, I think it's. Would we all do it again, guys? I don't know. It's
No, I don't know,
an
man.
interesting one, isn't it?
No, probably not.
Harry, do you have a favourite task?
The messy task I really loved. I think, was it me and you, Danny, or me and somebody was swimming about in a bath that absolutely stunk.
I was actually in that chat, Harry.
Bubbles,
yeah, I do remember.
trying to blow bubbles, I'd like pop the bubbles, and because I have no sense of smell, I have no sense of smell because I got smacked in the face by a racehorse like years and years ago, so I don't really smell. Yeah, I don't really smell that well. So like I was like welling on that task, and then I was telling everyone to like put toothpaste across their nostrils because that's what they do to like they put like breeding stallions, they put Vicks on the nostrils so they don't like they get all excited when they're around mares. And I was like, we haven't got any Vicks, but let's use a bit of toothpaste.
What about you, Harriet? Was there something that stood out for you that you enjoyed task-wise? Because Big Brother had they had a kind of a weird set of tasks for you in your series, particularly.
What did I do? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, I remember you were with Kieran, weren't you? You were doing
Oh,
something.
mate, I smashed that. I held on
You
for dear
did really
life.
well. You had to hang on to something.
Yeah, and out of all the boys who go gym,
you
show
got
them all up.
Yeah.
Show them all up. It's a mind over matter. Just shut your eyes.
You
Like
did,
that.
girlfriend. You did it.
Danny, what did
Mate,
you
I've done
like?
a few good ones. They gave me a shit one like maths. What are you doing to me? Why are you giving me maths things? I'm not good at maths. I'm not good at maths.
I enjoyed the one in. I was in the bath with. I think Eileen was next to me, and then one of the twins was next to me, and they're dropping the stuff down on us in the pitch black. That was quite scary because you was trying to anticipate what was coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, you always thought it was something worse than what it actually was. So like, I don't know, a feather would drop down on you, you'd think it would be a spider or something. So you was always anticipating the worst. But you scared each other, if anything, because I don't know, Eileen would scream and then it'd make me jump, and then because we was all holding hands, it'd just make us all jump, sort of thing. But yeah, that was a good task. I like that.
Eileen, what about you? What was your favourite?
I think that was my favourite task as well with
Yeah.
Danny, and it was one of the twins who were fabulous. The two girls were, I must admit, on the show, I think Joel and I fell in love with the twins. They were such
great.
lovely girls. And it was Joel. No, it wasn't Joel. It was Danny, me. Danny was in the middle. Oh my word! But what was worse is they did do something really, really bad. They put maggots in the bath. They put maggots in the poor girl. Do you remember? That was outrageous. Yeah.
They were everywhere, weren't they?
Yeah, I had teddy bears, but
A teddy bear fell on Eileen and she was screaming more than what the twin did with maggots.
he was getting maggots and she was screaming. I was getting teddy bears.
Starting with Harry, I wanted to ask what you all found the toughest about your experience as a whole in Big Brother. Because obviously, for many of us, we'll never know what the experience is like. So starting with you, Harry, what did you find most difficult about being on the show?
I have like a really strong friendship group that's been. I'm really sorry. Yeah, that's a wonderful T-Rex, baby. I'll be right down. Wonderful, smashing. I have a really strong friendship group, and I've sort of had the same friendship group for absolutely years. They've been with me through thick or thin, like when I was in homeless hostels and stuff. And like, because I don't have a lot of family, I just sort of have like my sisters and like my friendship group. So like, to take that away from me, it's like somebody amputated a limb. Like I had no sense of reason. I had no, like, you know, like when you go to your friends and you can trust their opinion on anything, like, oh, I've got this problem or I've got that problem, and they know you that well that they can give it to you straight. And sort of like being without that guidance and that comfort blanket for me was like the most stressful thing in the world.
Yeah. And Joel, what about for you? What did you find most difficult about your experience?
Joe, I didn't find it difficult in the sense, you know, I didn't find it stressful in ways that perhaps other people found it stressful. I think I was always on edge in the sense that I was always conscious about how I could be treated. And, you know, I mean, you said at the start, Lewis, you know, it's a 24-hour show that is condensed down to 1 hour. And so I was always thinking, right, if I had a pop at someone or if I said something and I spent the rest of my time being really nice and doing nice and funny things, what are they going to wear? And they're probably going to wear the fact that I had an argument with someone. And, you know, immediately the public are going to then adopt a certain view and so on and so forth. So I was always mindful that, you know, you've got to be yourself. And don't get me wrong, being in there 10 weeks, the process will prevent you from sort of faking your time there. But it was always in the back of my mind. I was always anxious, you know, what's going to happen and how am I going to be portrayed, you know.
And were you happy when you came out and you watched some of the stuff back? Were there times where you looked at the edit and kind of thought that wasn't how it was, or were you disappointed in any way?
I remember after the show, I went away for a week on holiday, and all the clips were put on YouTube. And obviously, if you leave the UK, you can watch them on YouTube, but you can't in the UK because of copyright. So I remember I was away and I watched a number of episodes, you know, and I sort of watched it back, and there were some things that I thought were, you know, correct, and you know, there were some things that I thought would have been portrayed in a different way. And what I found quite interesting was there were some things where it had been aired as if certain things had happened before, but they actually happened after. And that was a really interesting thing to pick up on. Yeah.
And what about you, Eileen? What did you find toughest about your experience in Big Brother?
Yeah.
I didn't find actually anything really tough. I thought it was a sort of walk in the park on some level, in some way. What I did find a little bit sort of, it was tough that no one was really my age, and had the experiences that I'd had, and I didn't have a conversation of such in things that I particularly are interested in, as in film, you know, music and things, because they were sort of 20 years younger than me. So I was aware how old I was, and it did make me actually realize that I was old. No, I wasn't. I hadn't really, you know, having your girlfriends and your boyfriends around you at a certain age, or younger or older, you don't really think about that when you go out for dinner or anything like that. But when you're in a group of people that are so much younger than you, and that I was mindful of. No, not too bad, not too, because everybody I really did love. I enjoyed for each one, for themselves. I had no real enemies. Even Mr. Showbiz, in the end, I found quite amusing. But I think that was the hardest thing for me, that I didn't have a peer or someone that I could actually talk to about things that I enjoy, and they would enjoy, books and things like that. So other than that, I think it was a walk in the park, and it was very, very, I was pleased to meet everyone and enjoy them, you know, enjoy the journey with them. Lovely.
And the thing is, as a viewer, I know you were saying about you being the oldest housemate, but it never came across as a divide as such, because you really did get on with everyone, and you would have the fun the same as everyone. Like I said to you before we came on, I just remember you running around the house where you, the bedroom where you just were shouting, banging on the walls. It was so entertaining.
Well, I remember cooking with Harry, and Harry was naked. She was naked, she was naked, and we were cooking together. I think we were in the poor group, who were constantly, and Danny was in the poor group with me, and all we had was tins of chickpeas that we would have do you remember that, Danny? Chickpeas, your favourite?
I do. It's disgusting, man.
Disgusting.
I hated it. I was eating more onions out of the bowl to keep going. I hated chickpeas.
No. Yeah.
Harriet, what about you? What did you find difficult about your experience, or what was the toughest?
Oh, you know what? I think honestly, to be away from Bill. No, man, that done me. I swear. Yeah. That's what I got upset. I used to sit and think, oh man, I just want to go home to Bill, man. I'm not doing it. Get me. I'm a home person as well. Like, to take me out of my home. Like, I always get homesick wherever I am. I like to be at home. But I really enjoyed it. I wish I stayed long. I think I got cheated. I don't give a shit. I got cheated. But in a way, I'm actually glad I left when I did, because I would not have liked Mark. No way. Would not have liked Helen. No way. Probably would have really embarrassed myself on national TV. Wouldn't have needed it. You know what I mean? So it's best I did leave. Because Bill even said to me, if you was in that ass with that Mark, mate, and the way he was talking to them women, he spoke to you like, he goes on and dragged him out.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And what about...
He's rude though, man. You can't talk to women the way he talks to women. It's disgusting. If that was all about now, this Me Too movement, they wouldn't be be allowed on telly, but they're allowed a lot. That's what pissed me off though, yeah, because they told me off for the Aaron thing, yeah, when we was pushing Aaron, he was all having a laugh. Joel was having a laugh. Then he went into the diary and said, oh, he actually didn't have a laugh, but he said to me that he was having a laugh. But they did never pull Mark for saying like, oh, I'd spunk in your face or things like this to Chloe. Yeah. He said I'd spunk all over her, things like that. Like, why are you not? If I'm getting pulled like in the diary room, why is he not getting pulled for talking filth? Do you know what I mean? He's talking filth to women. It's disgusting. So in a way, I'm glad it was a blessing really for me to go.
And Danny, what about you? Did you find anything particularly tough in there? Danny?
Who is he?
I think he's frozen. Joe, one thing I did, obviously, because a lot of the fans will be wondering, a big moment was you had a really good friendship with Aaron at the start of the show, and there was an incident where, you know, he was removed from the house. Have you spoken to him since your experience?
I wouldn't say tough, but I feel like
You're back.
We got two questions on the go now. Right, yeah, Joel, have you spoken to him since leaving the house?
No, I remember the last time I spoke to Aaron was at the after party at the finale night, and you know the thing is,
I'm not looking at that hedgehog.
I don't wish Aaron any harm at all, and you know but what's the saying? You know, I want him to eat, but I just don't want him to eat at my table. Does that make sense? So you know, there are things that happen, there are circumstances that take place. You know, I don't wish anyone any harm. I would just rather, you know, he did his thing and I did my thing, and I think that's my take, and that has been my take. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, the thing is, there were discussions that took place that were not aired. And, you know, I think it's right that those things, you know, do not become aired, if that makes sense. You know, and there were discussions with producers, and, you know, it's
oh no, it's frozen.
And, you know, people move on.
Joel, you frozen a little bit there. Can you mention any of the discussions? You say off air. Was that between yourself and the diary room?
Yeah, so I mean, there were discussions that took place, and you know, it is, you know, I think it's right that, you know, Big Brother determines what Big Brother wanted to air, and that's down to Big Brother.
Fair enough. And Danny, we lost you for a little bit there, didn't we? So, yeah, did you find anything
frozen again?
Am
I frozen? Or?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joel, now. Yeah.
Am I you?
Okay.
So we're over to Danny.
You are, Danny.
Yeah, I didn't find anything hard, but what I hated was that when Harriet went, Kieran went, and the twins went, I lost everyone that was on my level.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of banter with them. I know me and Harry had a little argument, but that kind of made us a bit stronger, a bit more closer than anything afterwards.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I then found myself in a house with everyone that's younger than me, and I had to adapt to their sort of level, as in, I don't know, with everything really. I lost all the banter with everybody else, and I'm now hanging around with people who are 19, 20, 21, and I'm pushing 30s. So, and then obviously Mark come in, and I found myself just trying to, like, I didn't like all the stuff he was saying. And I found myself like,
I'll play with you after.
It kind of ruined my experience a bit, because I found myself more protected with everybody else because I didn't like what Mark was doing.
Yeah, straight up.
Rather than having fun like I was in the first couple of weeks I was there.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? So halfway through, I really didn't care if I got voted out or not, because I weren't enjoying it. I was just at the ump every day. I was getting stressed out every day. So yeah, nothing was really hard. It just I don't know. I didn't like being stressed out every day. I wanted to go back to the 2 weeks before, when everyone was really happy, having a laugh, having banter, and all that sort of stuff. And that just kind of all stopped.
And the next question.
Thanks, Danny. Love you too.
The next question for everyone is, what stands out as the funniest moment in your experience? So something that you always think back to that happened in the house that just makes you laugh. So starting with Harry again, what stands out as your funniest moment?
Queen Ashleen with her basic rations for a basic bitch.
Oh,
Mic drop.
yeah. That was the line of the series.
Absolute hero. When I grow up, I want to be just like Ashley.
Joe, what about you?
Love
Because
you
you brought a lot of fun to that house. You were entertaining. You like to get involved with people. So what stands out as your funniest moment?
I kind of remember singing "Winner Takes It All" and that ABBA song, and
Yeah.
I think it was kind of aired as if I was singing it to Christian, which was quite funny because I remember Matt and I watched it back after the show, and we just sort of laughed, and yeah, it was a great time, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and you know, before going into the house, ABBA weren't one of my favourite bands, but apparently it was my favourite band, which was quite interesting. But yeah.
That's what about you, Eileen? What stands out for you as something that always makes you laugh when you think back to your experience?
I don't think I ever laughed at any of it really. When I look back at it, I don't belly laugh, but I do have fond memories, and the fond memory is dressing Joel up in glitter trousers.
I remember
and
that.
really looking so dapper. I think he had a little bobber jacket on.
I think they were pussy pants, weren't they?
I remember
Oh,
that.
they were pussy pants. Yes,
Yeah.
they were the pussy pants. And you look delectable in them. And yeah, that's fun moments like that I can look back on and think, you know, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nick was very sweet. Nick was always picking his nose, if I remember,
Yeah.
doing his hair and picking his nose. And he was a nice kid, a lovely kid. I think, yeah, yeah, he was very dapper as well. Him and Joel, you know, nice young men. That's what I say. Yeah.
And what about you, Harriet? What stands out as being your favourite moment and funniest moment for you?
Right, they didn't air loads, yeah. Joel, do you remember? Oh, Britannia, Britannia rules. We sung that every night before bed. They never aired it, ever.
Every night?
And I still sing it before bed sometimes.
It's crazy that we're you know, the BBC came out and they said they're not going to air Rule Britannia anymore at the proms or something, and I just remember Harriet, you know, we were always singing
1 minute.
Rule Britannia.
I
you know.
loved it, and we used to go Nicholls. Oh, Britannia, Britannia rules. That was jokes. There was loads though, man. I just can't. Do you know what? I can't even remember them. How many years ago was it now?
5.
5. Lots happened in 5 years.
What about you, Danny? What stands out as being kind of a funny moment that you always kind of look back with fond memories?
When Mark got voted out, that was quite funny.
I love it. I don't like him.
No, I think when Kieran was in there, me and him, we just got up to mischief all the time. We would hide like Sarah's expensive lube shoes in the freezer and little things like that. I remember calling. It was night time and the lights were off. I was in my little box.
The Grudge.
Yeah. And I was crawling across the floor.
Yeah.
And it was pitch black to go and scare Sarah. And then Kieran just turned the lights on, and I'm halfway through crawling on the floor just in my pants, and he's made it all bright so everyone can see me just trying to scare Sarah in my pants. Do you know what I mean? So that made me laugh watching that back.
I remember.
Yeah, it is hard to remember a lot of the stuff, but there was a lot of good times in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
As a viewer watching the show, I mean, Mark comes in. We, as you know, fans love people that are energetic and stir things up. But I think he went in there and just overplayed it, and it got to a stage where we're watching. We're like, you're not being true to yourself. And when you stood up to him, I think you won people over because you went in there as the classy guy. You know, you had respect for people and you put him in his place. And I think that I remember Twitter going nuts for you at the time because you stayed true to yourself, which, you know, was genuine.
Yeah, I mean, I went in there as I am on the outside. I would have done the same on the outside. But I've got to hand it to Mark. He didn't have a hidden agenda. He went in there purposely to do that, and he didn't hide the fact that he was going to do that. So it wasn't as if he was trying to be someone he wasn't, because he said he was going to fuck shit up, and he did. But he still grinded on it. He was there purposely to annoy everyone. He didn't care about no one. If you liked him or not, he did not care, and he made that point quite clear. So yeah, he did what he did. He annoyed everyone, and what he set out to do worked.
And the last question I've got for everyone now, which is, what's life been like since leaving a house? So, you know, various things that might have happened, what you do for work, that kind of stuff. So starting with Harry, you know, what's life been like for you?
I mean, I just hide these days. I just hide away from everyone. I don't really do a lot. I just like I got sick of everyone's shit, so I just went and got a normal job, and then I don't really go out very much. I just stay at home.
Fair enough. Yeah, because obviously I don't want to bring up stuff that you know when you were in the house, because I know we spoke before about, you know, stuff that we weren't going to talk about. But do you, when you came out of the house, how did you deal with that pressure of like the press and stuff? Because we were talking earlier today, weren't we? And I mean, you have the press on you, magazines are wanting interviews. It's such an intense experience.
I think I'm just really shocked because like everyone gave me such a hard time. Now the thing about like me being naked all the time, like before I went in there, I was told like, don't worry, we won't show you like doing anything personal. We won't show you bathing. We won't show you this. And like I've never watched the show before, so I believed them when they told me that. And then like I went in there and then I come out and everyone's like, oh, we've seen you shaving your fanny on TV. And I'm like, on the one hand, I'm mortified, and then like I sort of like didn't think, I sort of like thought I was like less of a person and thought I was like shit on everyone's shoe for very many years, and now I just watch like everyone shagging on Love Island and like everyone bringing out OnlyFans, and like sex work is now mainstream and everyone's like hashtagging sex work is work. But yeah, I went in there, I was honest about being a cam girl, I was honest about being a glamour model, I was honest about where I came from, what I did. I never hid anything. I just said like, yeah, probably wouldn't choose to do the job I do, but I do it, I enjoy it, it's not bad, it's a bit of a laugh being on the babe shows, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's not all I am. And everyone's like, oh my God, she's horrendous, she's a gold digger, she's this, she's that, she's the other. Like, all I've ever done is work my ass off. And like anyone who knows me can tell you that like I'm currently absolutely exhausted because I've been up since 4:30 this morning and all I do is work, work, work. Funnily enough, now I actually work in a male-dominated industry with a load of construction blokes, and all of them think I'm an absolute geezer because I just don't care, and I'm sort of very male brained.
Yeah.
So like for me, I think it's just the reason why I just hide away these days is it's like a really tough pill to swallow that I was just entirely myself and entirely unapologetic about it. And I came out and everyone was sort of saying, well, you should apologise because you're a piece of shit. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Everyone always says be yourself, and you're telling me that being myself isn't good enough. So now I don't know, I don't tell anyone I've been on Big Brother. I don't tell anyone anything about my private life, my personal life. I don't tell anyone what I'm up to. I mean, I speak to Danny every now and again. I speak to Ashleen and I speak to Jasmine Leonard. I get on really well with her. She's been an absolute amazing tower of strength for me. But apart from that, I just keep to the same friendship group I've had for absolutely years. And I mean, I've actually developed, believe it or not, like social anxiety to the point where I physically can't like go out because I'm that like terrified of the looks I get and thinking everyone's like talking down about me and thinking everyone's gonna like be gossiping and whispering. Like, it's quite hard to, you know, do my job and to go about my business and do everything. And I just think it's a little bit unfair when sort of like I'm, you know, from a bit of a scumbaggery background, and then everyone is praising all these people on Love Island that have Range Rovers and are shagging on TV because they're like, oh my God, they're amazing, they're so inspirational. And I'm like, I don't claim to be inspirational, but I think it was very unfair, the fact that I was treated like a piece of shit, and everyone thinks I'm a piece of shit, and everyone labelled me and still labels me now as a gold digger. That's affected my relationships, it's affected like everything. And even now, before I even, like, some of my friends, their friends know that they're friends with me, and they go, oh, how can you be friends with her? I've heard she's a gold digger, I've heard she's this, I've heard she's that. And then they constantly have to defend me and say, like, if only you knew how hard she works, if only you knew what she did. And it's got to the point now where I can't be bothered repeating myself and explaining myself and excusing myself. So I just hide in my little 2-bedroom house.
Oh no, Harry, honestly, thanks for being so honest though. It's kind of, a lot of people don't know what people's lives are like since leaving a show like that, and just to hear kind of what you've been through. And we were talking earlier up before we came on, yourself and I, about the media and how negative they can be. So I hope things will kind of improve in that respect. You know, they don't keep posting stuff like they are. But yeah, thank you for
I
being
think
honest.
they've stopped posting now just because I hide so much, but like that's why it hurts me so much when people like Joel sort of jump on the bandwagon and decided to back everyone's stories up and continue to spread what they spread, because like Joel's lived with me. He knows how hard I work, as everyone else on this Zoom call, probably obviously not Harriet because she was out before me, but you know, like I'm sure Eileen can probably tell you exactly the same story. And you know, the short time I spent with Eileen in that house, like I really wish she stayed, because I got on with her so well, and she's sort of faced a lot of the same stigma that I faced. And I just, like I said, you know, when in this day and age of Love Island, when everyone's sort of like looking up to, you know, going on reality TV shows and like thinking it's going to be the best thing ever, and you're going to like make loads of money out of it, and you're going to be famous, and life's going to be rosy. Like, this is the reason why people keep killing themselves left, right and centre, is because it's not all it's cracked up to be. And I tend to find that girls get a lot harder stick than men, because I mean, there was even a comparison between me and Mark, and like Mark was doing a lot of the same things I was doing. He was walking around naked, he was like winding people up, he was doing a lot of this, but Mark was labelled as a hero and I was labelled as a piece of shit and got told that I should go kill myself, my son should be took off me because I'm a slag and I'm a gold digger. And then, yeah.
No, mate, that's cruel.
When I was pregnant, I got that low that I actually cried to my midwife and begged them to get Hunter adopted, because I said I couldn't do it because of everyone saying things about me. I got spat at in the street.
You're joking.
I got hit. I was working, so that I could get maternity pay, I was actually working in a bar, and I used to get people recording me without my consent when I was heavily pregnant and posting it online and being like, oh my God, look at Harry, like her fall from grace, she's working in a bar, ha ha ha. Which obviously when I was 9 months pregnant, I couldn't be doing glamour shoots, so I did what I did.
That's horrific. But thank you for being honest with us. Joe, what's life been like since you've left the house? I know you've been extremely busy. For those that follow you, you're very involved with politics. So tell us what life's been like since leaving the house.
Well, you know, I mean, I think firstly, just to say, I think what Harry said there, you know, some of the things that people have done is disgusting and is completely unacceptable. And, you know, it's wrong. And, you know, Harry put it to me, you know, I did live with her for 7 weeks, and yeah, she is an incredibly hard worker, and you know, I think it's wrong when people misunderstand and, you know, go after people because of what they've seen perhaps on television or read in papers. That's really wrong. But no, for me, I said after Big Brother that I wanted to stick with politics and still do my law degree, so I graduated a couple of months ago with a law degree.
Well done, Joel.
Congratulations.
Baby.
So yeah, no, that's the plan. You know, I mean, politics was never going to be a career, because you can't have career politicians. You have to have politicians that take them to the table. So, you know, I stuck with the business that I set up when I was 16. I'm still doing that now. And, you know, there's a big election for me next year for the Welsh Senedd, which is basically like the Scottish Parliament equivalent, but in Wales. So big year next year. So yeah, just hoping that COVID goes away and everyone stays safe. And because at the moment we can't go out and knock doors, you see. So we can't wait to get back on the doorstep and speak to people, speak to voters, and just listen to them and respond to their views. But no, it hasn't been 5 years. I just can't believe it's been 5 years. It's flown.
I was going to say, for you, you're young and you get so much support in regards to politics. So how does that feel for you that so many people from where you're from are getting behind you, and they really believe that you're someone that's going to listen to them, take their opinions and make changes? That must make you feel good that you're getting the support that you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I did Big Brother, there was an awful lot of apprehension from people in politics about whether I was doing the right thing, because, you know, going on television for 10 weeks and putting yourself in the public eye is a massive risk. And, you know, thankfully I did okay, and I came out of it unscathed in that regard. But, you know, it is humbling that there are people who are prepared to give up their time, give up their resources, to come out and support you because they really do believe in you. And that's a really powerful thing. And it's something that I've never forgotten. And all of us have experienced that on Big Brother, because we've all got a fan base, people who support us, people who are still probably stuck with us now to this day. And yeah, I mean, you know, in politics, it's a messy business. And, you know, what is nice is that there are some, you know, really, you know, big names in politics who are really supportive and want to get behind the campaign and want to you know, support me in Cardiff North, which is the seat that I'm standing for. And yeah, that's really good. Just got to knuckle down now and hopefully win next May.
Well, good luck. It'll be, yeah, hopefully you'll get the result you want. Eileen, what about you? What's life been like since leaving the house? What are you doing now? Have you got any projects on the go?
Yeah, well, mine's quite boring, really. I moved from Chelsea to Dorset, Swanage, which is very, very nice and very pretty. I put on a stone, which is oh yeah. Okay,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm doing a documentary, and I'm still doing music. So nothing's really changed in my life. It's still exactly the same. I'm enjoying life, and I'm wonderful. I'm happy and just enjoying and waiting for the next project, which I think we're going to do a documentary. I've got a production.
About what?
Yeah, well, it's going to be it's a little bit of a secret, Harriet, but it's a little bit of a secret, but you know, yeah, about what, Harriet, you dig deep, girlfriend. So really just the same as 5 years ago, just doing what I'm doing, and that's nice. I didn't really, that's it.
So what was the documentary about?
No, I'm not telling you. Someone's going to nick my idea. I just know it. Someone's just going to steal it. So I'm going to
have to get you on when it's revealed. Harriet, what's life been like for you since leaving the house? And tell us what you've been up to.
What did I do? When I left, I went back to my old job. Then I went, oh no, fuck this. And I left that. I was never really born to work. Not gonna lie. Listen, I've been with Bill since I've been with Bill 8 years now. 8 years I've been with Bill. My life is literally the same. They asked me to, no, I had an agent, yeah, when I left, and they asked me to do one thing, and then that's when I thought, not for me. They asked me, will you go on a fake date and have photos taken? And then I was like, no.
Wow.
That is not for me, mate. It goes against everything I believe in. That makes me look like an absolute dick on telly, to stand and then embarrass my Bill. Never. And Bill ain't like that. So it's either, Bill said, listen, if you want to do this is fine. He was like, but Eric, you know, I ain't really down for like being on camera. He didn't come and meet me after. He's very private. He don't even have Instagram. Do you know what I mean? He said, like, it's not for me. He don't even have a photo with me, just about. You know what I mean, he's not like that at all. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I've got a baby now. I've been with 8 years, and I am the happiest I've been.
It's nice.
My little family.
What about you, Danny? What's life been like for you since leaving the house? What have you been doing? What have you been working on?
Well, I lived a dream for a couple of months straight after Big Brother, I'm not going to lie. You know, partying and stuff like that was good, but it only lasted so long. So I went straight back into the job I was doing, same company, and I'm still there today. I'm doing well. I'm quite high up now. I'm now labelled as a manager, sort of thing. So, but other than that, you fall back into your old life very quickly. And then I'll be honest with you, the Big Brother experience kind of hinders things for me. I'm old. I'm old now. I'm 34, and if I'm looking to settle down, and every time I meet a girl and she finds out Big Brother, they end up hating it. They don't like it because they read things about you and stuff like that, and it hinders that. So if I'll say on my profiles on the dating apps, I won't ever mention Big Brother ever. If I can avoid it, I will never.
Yeah, I don't mention it. I don't mention it either.
So yeah, so
Danny, I don't think you're going to find like your wife on Tinder.
You never know. You never know.
You can find
No,
several.
I don't think you're going to find your wife on Tinder.
I'm on Grindr.
Oh my
Yes.
I thought I recognised you, Danny.
Now
guys.
it makes sense why you've not got a woman.
No, I want to say
He's
thank
not
you
got
so
a
much
woman,
for
he's
coming
got
on.
10.
Yeah, innit? Yeah.
I want to
One
thank
for a
everyone for
slice of
coming on
pizza.
today. I really appreciate it. It's good to get you on for the reunion
sorry.
and to hear about your experience. And, you know, in particular, Harry, for you being so open and honest about what you've been through. You know, I appreciate you coming on to share
Yeah,
your
hold
story.
tight, sister. Power to the mum.
Sorry, Hunter's really trying like his hardest to make his presence known, as you can tell in the background.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on the reunion today. It's been amazing having you on. Thank you so much. Thanks to Joe, Eileen, Harriet, and Danny, and yeah, Harry. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
There we go. I hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to come back on Friday for the Big Brother 17 reunion. We've got a good lineup. It's one not to be missed.